Hi everyone, welcome to Math World. This video is to discuss Cambridge International AS and A-Level Mathematics Paper 1, which is the Pure Mathematics 1 for May-June 2023, and the code is 9709/11. Okay, so let's move on to question number 1. Now, for question number 1, solve the equation 4 sine theta plus tangent theta equals to 0 for theta defined from 0 degrees to 180 degrees, but not inclusive both. Okay, so first of all, I will copy the question. Alright, so in order to solve this question, I will change the tangent theta to sine theta over cos theta. Okay, then now from here, we times the whole equation by cos theta. So now 4 sine theta cos theta plus sine theta, the right hand side will be 0. And then from here, the common term is sine theta. That means we will factorize the sine theta. And then you have 4 cos theta plus 1 in the second bracket. Okay, so when you solve the equation in terms of trigonometric, right? So remember, we never cancel off the sign, even though the sine theta is in common, alright? So from here, my sine theta equals to 0, because product of two terms equals to 0 means one of the terms must be 0. So either sine theta equals to 0 or 4 cos theta plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so now when you refer to the sine graph, okay, so this is the sine graph. 360 degrees, 180 degrees, and 0 degrees, then the sine graph will be on the x-axis. Okay, this is your sine graph. Now, when sine theta equals to 0, supposedly I will have to accept 0, 180, and 360. But by looking at the domain here, it does not include 0. Okay, there's no equal sign. It does not include 0 and 180 degrees, which means there's no solution for sine theta equals to 0. So here I will write no solution. Okay, so now we need to solve 4 cos theta plus 1 equals to 0. So when 4 cos theta plus 1 equals to 0 means that cos theta is negative 1 over 4. Now when cos theta equals to negative, that means the angle will be in the second quadrant, because we will just consider the first two quadrants of the angle. So now by using the calculator, inverse cos 1 over 4 will be 75.5 degrees. Okay, but then by looking at this quadrant diagram, our angle is the major angle, which means it's 180 minus 75.5 degrees. So at last, you will be getting 104.5 degrees. So this is the solution for question number 1. Okay, now question number 2. 2a, find the first three terms in the expansion in ascending powers of x of degree 4 of 2 plus 3x. So now we just need first three terms. So now 2 plus 3x to the power 4. To do this expansion, we need to refer to the binomial expansion formula. So binomial expansion formula is basically a plus b to the power of n, whereby your n is positive integer. It will be an plus nc1. Okay, this means nc1. Then a degree n minus 1, b degree 1. So we always decrease the degree of first term and increase the degree of second term here. Then plus nc2, a to the power of n minus 2, b squared. So you just keep on all this method, all these formats until b degree n. Okay, that will be the complete binomial expansion. But now, when you look at this question, we are just interested to get the first three terms. So it means that my first term is going to be 2 power 4 plus second term is 4c1, 2 cubed, then 3x degree 1. So because when you compare with a plus b, it means that your b is 3x, right? So plus 4c2, 2 squared, 3x degree 2. So I will stop here because we just need first three terms. Alright, so from here, I will get 16 plus 96x plus 216x squared. So you can just write plus dot 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 because this is not the full expansion. So these are the first three terms in this expansion. Okay, now B. Find the first three terms in the expansion in ascending powers of x for degree 5 of 1 minus 2x. So now 1 minus 2x to the power 5. Okay, so you can change it to 1 plus negative 2x to the power of 5 in order to use the a plus b to the power of n, which means now when you need to use this, when you need to apply this binomial formula, binomial expansion formula, make sure it is plus. So if it is not plus, you just change to plus of the negative. Okay, so which means now your b is minus 2x, your a is 1. So by using the same formula, it will be 1 degree 5 plus 5c1, 1 degree 4, then times by negative 2x degree 1, followed by 5c2, then 1 degree 3, negative 2x degree 2. So these are the first three terms. Now the next step is just to simplify all the terms. Then you will get 1 minus 10x plus 40x squared. Okay, so these are the first three terms of the next expansion. Now C. Hence, find the coefficient for x squared in the expansion of this multiplication. So now hence means use the previous answer. So I will just rewrite my expansions from the A and B. So from the A, I will be getting the expansion for 2 plus 3x power 4. So I will copy these three terms and then multiply with the next three terms. Then you will be getting 16 plus 96x plus 216x squared multiply with 1 minus 10x plus 40x squared. Okay, now we are just interested to find the coefficient for x squared. Means we just need to find the term of the x squared first. Which means now I will not do the full expansion, but I will just expand those with the x squared. I mean, in order to get the term with x squared. So 16 times 40x squared, I will be getting 640x squared. Okay, then for the 96x, I just need to multiply with another x to get the x squared. So 96x multiplied by negative 10x, it will be negative 960x squared. Okay, and same goes to the last one, 216x squared, just need to multiply with 1 in order to get the x squared. So I will get plus 216x squared and the rest of the terms. So now by simplifying these three terms, you will get minus 104x squared plus the rest of the terms. Therefore, our coefficient of x squared is found. That is negative 104. Alright, so now for question 3. The diagram shows graphs with equations y equals to fx and y equals to gx. So this is the fx and here is the gx. And now describe fully a sequence of two transformations which transforms the graph y equals to fx to y equals to gx. So now we have two transformations here. First of all, we look at the horizontal distance. Okay, so the shape is the same. See, the shape is the same. Here is 2 units. Here is also 2 units. All right, and then let's say I refer to this point. Here is 2 units. Here is also 2 units. Means that the transformation does not involve the x values. Okay, it's not affecting the x value. But then when we look at the y values here, the y distance. Okay, let's see this. Here is 2 units, but then here becomes 4 units. Okay, the height is double. Or I would say that from this point to this point, the height is 4 units, but then from here to this point, so here is 6, right, here is 0 to 6, 6 plus another 2 means that it becomes 8 units. So obviously from here I notice that the effect is on the y values, so it is double, see, because your fx, from fx to gx, so fx is the original, so from 4 to 8, right, where I refer to these 2 points, that means it's double, which means this is the stretch, right, in the y-axis with scale factor of 2 because it's double. Okay, that is our first transformation. So the transformation, the first one is stretch in the y-axis, in the y direction, I would say in the y direction. With scale factor 2. Okay, because it's double, right? Double value of the original value. Then the next one is once you have moved, when you stretch it, so basically it becomes here. Alright, basically it becomes here. Then, this horizontal line becomes here. Okay, so when you look at this new graph, y equals to gx is a new graph. So when you look at this point, let's say I refer to this point. So it has been transformed to this point. So now it is translation. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is a translation of 6 units to the left hand side. And then it will not have any translation up down. Alright, which means the next one is going to be the translation. So the second transformation is translation equals to minus 6, 0. Okay, so these are the two transformations from fx to gx. Right? Okay, now question 4. The diagram shows a sector ABC of a circle with center A. So this is a center A and radius 8. Now, this is the ABC. This is the sector ABC. So since your A is a center, AB is a radius 8, which means AC is also 8. So the area of the sector is 16 over 3 pi centimeter squared. The point D lies on the arc BC. Okay, this is the arc BC. Find the perimeter of the segment BCD. So now you need to find this perimeter. Means the length. Okay, what's the length of this? Alright, so now from here, first of all, we need to find what is our theta. So by using the value 16 over 3 pi as the area of the sector, so I will use a formula for area of sector, which is half r squared theta. Okay, so now your r is basically 8. Then theta unknown. My area is 16 over 3 pi. Okay, so from here, you will get this 8 squared is 64. 64 divided by 2 will be 32. So 32 theta is 16 over 3 pi. Therefore, your theta is going to be 1 over 6 pi. Alright, so once you have found the theta is pi over 6, then we can find the BC. BC is our arc length. So now, okay, so we can find our BC, the arc length. Or I would say the arc length of ABC. Right, the arc length of sector ABC, arc length of sector ABC. that is the theta r. So it is pi over 6 times 8, which means I get 4 over 3 pi. So means that now we have found the BCD. This is a BCD. And then now I need to find what is the BC. Okay, what is the BC? Now, BC, when you look at the BC, the whole picture of BC, which means that is a triangle. Okay, so when you look at this triangle, this is a triangle. We need to know what is the side, the length of the BC. Alright, so now, since you have found the theta is the opposite angle, is the angle corresponds to the length BC. Alright, and you are given the 2 radius, which is the 8, which means now to get the BC, I can just apply the cosine formula, okay, or the cosine rule, right? So now I will just write from cosine rule, so BC squared, according to cosine rule, BC squared equals to AB squared plus AC squared minus 2ABAC cos theta. Okay, that is the cosine rule. So BC squared is AC squared plus AB squared minus 2AC AB cos theta. Okay, so now my BC will be square root of the right hand side. So now my AC and AB, okay, AC and AB are both 8. So it will be 8 squared for both, minus 2, AC is 8, AB is 8, cos, we have found the theta, which is pi over 6. Okay, so from here, when you calculate the value, it will be 4.14411. So I will give more decimal place here because this BC is not yet the final answer. So now don't forget, we need to find perimeter of segment BCD. So it will be same as 4 over 3 pi plus 4.1411. Okay, so at last you will be getting 8.33. So this is my final answer. That's why I leave it correct to 3 significant figures. So you can just add on the centimeters. Alright, so that's all for this question. Okay, so let's move on to next question. Number 5. The line width equation y equals to kx minus k, where k is a positive constant, right? Means k is greater than 0, is a tangent. So this is a tangent to the curve with this equation. Now find in either order the value of k and the coordinates of the points where the tangent meets the curve. So either order means that you can just find the points first before the k, or just find the k first before the point. It's up to you. Okay, so from here, since this y equals to kx minus k is a tangent to y equals to negative 1 over 2x, then, and you are given that you need to count the coordinates of the points where tangent meets the curve. So when tangent meets the curve means that you need to find intersection points between the tangent and the curve. Alright, so now I will start with this first. Okay, so y equals to kx minus k as the first equation. Second equation is y equals to negative 1 over 2x. So now to get the intersection points, I let first equals to second. So now negative 1 over 2x equals to kx minus k. So then I times the whole equation by negative 2x. Then the left hand side will be 1. The right hand side, kx times negative 2x will be negative 2kx squared. Then the negative k times negative 2x will be plus 2kx. Then from here, I will get the equation in terms of x squared. And this is a quadratic equation. So I will move all the terms to the right hand side in order to get positive x squared. Alright, so then you will get 2kx squared minus 2kx plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, now next step is by looking at the question. See, coordinates of the point means there's only one intersection point. Alright, so now when tangent meets the curve at a point, that means the discriminant is 0. Okay, so there's only one intersection point. So which means now I need to write down my ABC from this quadratic equation first before I substitute into discriminant equals to 0. So now my A, so I rewrite this. That means my A is 2k, my B is minus 2k, and then the C is 1. And then now I substitute into the discriminant equals to 0. So which means I will get minus 2k squared, which is my B squared, minus 4, A is 2k, C is 1, then equals to 0. Now from here I can get my k value. Okay, so when you do the expansion and simplify it, you will get 4k squared minus 8k equals to 0. Then the common term is 4k. And then I can factorize 4k. After that, I will be getting k minus 2 equals to 0. So now, the multiplication of two terms, 4k and k minus 2 equals to 0, which means one of the terms must be 0. Either 4k equals to 0 or k minus 2 equals to 0. So when 4k equals to 0 means that your k equals to 0, the other one k equals to 2. But then when you look at the question carefully, it's mentioned that your k is positive constant. So it means that it cannot be 0. Right? So right here, since k is positive constant, therefore the k value is 2. So with this, I have found the k. Okay, so k is done. Now you need to find the coordinates of the intersection point. So what to do is you can just solve the quadratic equation. So now when k equals to 2, right? Remember when we find the intersection points, we are getting this quadratic equation. So I just need to replace my k value, then I'm able to find the x coordinate of the intersection point. So now when you replace a k by 2, the first term is 2 times 2, which means it's 4k squared. Second term will be negative 4k. And then third term is plus 1. Okay, so 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals to 0. That will be my quadratic equation. Alright, so from here, when you simplify this or you factorize this, it will be 2x minus 1 squared equals to 0. Or probably I can just label this as number 3. Then it will be easier. So, okay. Or I can just write from when k equals to 2, from third equation, then I'm getting this. Alright, so now from here, obviously your x is half. So the x equals to half is the x coordinate of the intersection point. So now to get the y value, you can either substitute into second or first equation. It's up to you. So I will substitute into second equation. It will be easier. Y equals to negative 1 over 2x. So from second equation, my y equals to negative 1 over 2x. Which means this is negative 1. Okay, because 2.5 is 1. So then the intersection point with coordinates half and negative 1. So this is the solution of question 5. Okay, now let's move on to question number 6. First three terms of an arithmetic progression are p squared over 2. So I will write down first AP, p squared over 6. Sorry, p squared over 6. Then the second term is 2p minus 6. Third term is p. Okay, now A, given that's the common difference, which is the D. Okay, the D is not 0. Find the p value. So we know that common difference is second term minus first term, then equals to third term minus second term. So I'm going to use that concept. Second term minus first term equals to third term minus second term. Alright, so from here we simplify. I will get 2p minus 6 minus p squared over 6, then equals to this minus you bring in, so it becomes p minus 2p, which is minus p, then the minus minus is a plus. Okay, so in order to get a p, then from here I notice that there is a p squared here, which means we need to solve the quadratic equation later on. So the easiest way to solve this is I times 6 first. I times 6 for the whole equation so that I do not get any denominator. So 6 times 12p will be, 6 times 2p will be 12p. 6 times 6 will be 36. Then the next term is minus p squared. The term on the right hand side becomes minus 6p plus 36. Okay, so I will move all the terms to the right hand side to get the positive p squared, which means minus 6p plus 36. Then move the 12p becomes negative 12p. The minus 36 becomes plus 36. Minus p squared becomes plus p squared equals to 0. So now I will rearrange. P squared. Okay, so when you simplify, minus 6p minus 12p, it is minus 18p. Then the 36 plus 36, it will be 72. Okay, this is my quadratic equation. And then now factorize this quadratic equation, you will be getting p minus 12 times p minus 6 equals to 0. Therefore, your p equals to 6 or p equals to 12. Now we get two p values. But then when you look at the question, we just need to find value of p. Means that only one p. Alright? So now we need to check the d is not 0. So when p equals to 6, alright, so I'll have to rewrite all these three terms. So p squared over 6 as the first term, 2p minus 6 as the second term, and then my third term is p. So the common difference, right? So common difference, so I will write when p equals to 6, these three terms becomes p squared is 6. 6 squared over 6, it is 6. Then 2p means 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 6 is still 6. Then the last term is 6. That means the common difference here is 0. Okay, which means your p cannot be 6. Alright, but then now when p equals to 12, so p squared minus 6, 2p minus 6, and p becomes, so 12 squared over 6, it will be 24. Then 2 times 12 minus 6, it will be 18. And then the last one is 12. So obviously the common difference is not 0. Okay, common difference is basically minus 6. That means it's not 0. So therefore, your final answer for the p is just 12. Alright, so now using this value, so means that p equals to 12. Find the sum to infinity to the geometric progression with first two terms p squared over 6 and 2p minus 6. So when p equals to 12, we have found the values just now. Okay, so gp, it will be first two terms. First two terms means it will be 24 and 18. So 24 and 18. So from here, I know that my A is 24. For geometric progression, the common ratio R is second term over first term. So 18 over 24, which is 3 over 4. So now sum to infinity, s infinity, is a over 1 minus r, which means it's 24 divided by 1 minus 3 over 4. So you will get 24 over 1 over 4, which is 96. Okay, that is the sum to infinity. Okay, so then number 7. Now a curve has equation y equals to 2 plus 3 sine half x, where the x derived from 0 to 4 pi inclusive both. A state greatest and least values of y. Okay, so for this case, we need to refer to the sine half x. So we know that for all the sine graph, because when you look at the half x here, okay, half x, the domain or the interval of x becomes 0 and 4 pi. That means here you will get one complete curve, alright? Which means your sine half x will be between minus 1 and 1. Because when you substitute, your x is 4 pi, alright? Then you will get half of 4 pi, which is 2 pi. Then when it is 0, sine 0, same, it is 0. But then when you consider 2 pi here, you will be getting sine 1 pi, which is minus 1. Okay, so now this is how I get it. Sine half x is between minus 1 and 1. And then now, you multiply by 3. So 3 sine half x. So when you multiply by 3 means that your lowest value becomes negative 3. The greatest value becomes 3. Then followed by plus 2. So 2 plus means it's plus 2. Okay, so when you plus 2, so minus 3 plus 2, then here is 3 plus 2, which means your function, this is your y. Your y is between 5 and minus 1. So now, just write down greatest y equals to 5, lowest or least y is minus 1. Okay, that's why I just state. Now, part B, sketch the graph. Okay, so our graph is y equals to 2 plus 3 sine half x. So now, you can just check when x equals to 0. Okay, basically all of these calculations are just extra information. So when x equals to 0, you will get y equals to 2 plus 3 sine 0, I'll get 0, which is 2. So let's say here, because we know that maximum is 5, minimum is minus 1. So maybe I just label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then here is minus 1. So when x 0, your y is 2. Okay, when it is pi, y equals to 2 plus 3 sine half pi, when you replace the x by pi. So sine half pi is 1, which is 5. Okay, then we know that the sine graph is in this shape. So when here 0, it will be same as pi, same as 4 pi, and so on. So now because it is half x here, alright, so now when x equals to 2 pi, if you are not sure, you can just count like this. So 2 plus 3, then when you substitute 2 pi into half x, that means this is sine pi. Sine pi is 0, which is 2. Okay, means when it is 4 pi, it will be 0 as well, because it will be like this. Alright, then definitely when 3 pi, it will be minus 1. Because when 3 pi, you will get sine 3 pi, sine 3 over 2 pi. Sine 3 over 2 pi, based on here, will be minus 1, which is minus 1. Okay, so you just need to join all this graph, all these points, and then you will be getting the graph. So please draw a smooth curve. Okay, so this is my graph. Okay, so let's move on to question C. State the number of solutions of the equation. This is the curve that we have just sketched, equals to 5 minus 2x, means that this is the intersection point. Alright, these are, you are looking for how many intersection points between these two graphs. So now 5 minus 2x. So when y equals to 5 minus 2x for this interval, so when x goes to 0, your y is 5. Okay, so I will just add on the 5 over here to explain the solution. So when x 0, your y is 5. Alright, so then when y equals to 0, it will be 5 over 2, the x. So 5 over 2 is 2.5. But for your information, this pi is already 3.14. That means it will be somewhere here. Okay, so when you join, right, this is a straight line. Y equals to 5 minus 2x. It will be just one intersection point. So when one intersection point means that there will be one solution. That's why the question is just asking for state the number of solution. So number of solution is 1. Okay, because there's only one intersection point between two graphs. Okay, question number 8. The functions f and g are defined as follows, where a and b are constants. Fx is 1 plus 2a over x minus a for x greater than a, and the gx is bx minus 2 for x is real number. A, given that f7 is 5 over 2, gf5, which is a composite function, equals to 4. Find the values of a and b. So first of all, I will use f7. So f7 equals to 5 over 2. That means when x equals to 7, the function is 5 over 2. So now, this function becomes 5 over 2 equals to 1 plus 2a over 7 minus a, because f7. Okay, so from here, by moving the 1 to the other side, so 5 over 2 minus 1 becomes 3 over 2. It will be 2a over 7 minus a. Then now, I just need to cross multiply. So 3 times 7 minus a equals to 2 times 2a, which means 21 minus 3a equals to 4a. Then now, this negative 3a move to the other side becomes 7a equals to 21. Hence, the a is 3. Okay, now, next step is to make use of gf5 equals to 4. So before that, I will rewrite my fx. So my fx is going to be 1 plus, here, 1 plus 2a. So since your a is 3, so 2a becomes 6. Then x minus 6, whereby the x is greater than 6. And then now for gf5, I can solve the f5 first. So f5 equals to 1 plus 6 over 5 minus 6, which means this is 1 plus 1. Then I will get 1 plus, x minus 6, gf5. Okay, I think I made a mistake. The a, x minus a, the a is 3, it's not 6. Okay, so denominator should be 3. So for the second term, 6 over 5 minus 3 is 6 over 2, which is 3. Then I will get 4. So that is my f5. And then now gf5 is 4. This is a composite function. So this is same as g of f5. So which means this is g of 4, because I have found that f5 is 4. G of 4 is 4 now. Okay, so your gx is bx minus 2. So gx is bx minus 2. So when g4, that means x is 4, the whole value is also 4. So which means 4 equals to b times 4 minus 2. Alright, so now 4 equals to 4b minus 2. So 4b equals to 6 because you move the minus 2 to the other side. Therefore, b is 6 over 4. And I will be getting 3 over 2. So these are the two values, okay, a and b. Now, next, for the rest of this question, you should use the value of a which you found in a. Okay, so now I will rewrite my fx. Fx is 1 plus 6 over x minus 3. So x is greater than 3. Now b, find the domain of f inverse. So now we know that domain f inverse is same as range f. Okay, so from this function, I need to find what is my range. Alright, so for your information, the 1 over x minus, or I will say that 1 over x, right, 1 over x is greater than 0 or more than or less than 0. Because if you refer to the graph, 1 over x is like this. This is 1 over x. Alright, but because of x minus 3 means that you are doing the translation 3 units to the right side. So which means your 1 over x minus 3 will be greater than 0 and also less than 0. Which means the graph is like this. Alright, so then 6 means that you just enlarge it. That is a stretch in the y-axis. Okay, then you plus 1. Plus 1 means you move up. So when you move up, right, when you refer to the graph here, the graph will be always above and below the x-axis, but it will not touch the x-axis. Okay, so when you move up the graph means that now it will be above, let's say this is the 3. I will just draw it here. Here is 1. Then your graph now becomes here. Okay, so from here, I know that the range is going to be greater than 1 and also less than 1. Okay, but then when you look at the domain here, this is for general graph. X is greater than 3, which means now we cannot accept this part. Cannot accept this part because this is less than 3. So I will just ignore this part. Okay, so from here, obviously, your range of fx is greater than 1. So domain f inverse is same as range of f, which means now domain f inverse, just take this result and change the domain. I mean, we are finding the domain means that you cannot take fx because fx is the range. So you have to change the fx to x. Therefore, your domain f inverse is basically x more than 1. Okay, so I have to erase this because your domain is greater than 3. Right, so probably I will just write when x is greater than 3, 1 over x minus 3 will be greater than 0. Okay, so that's the working for B, domain of f inverse. Okay, now see, find an expression for f inverse. So for f inverse, we need to refer to the f. So I will rewrite my f. My fx is 1 plus 6 over x minus 3. Okay, so to get the f inverse, first step is let y equals to fx, which means my y is 1 plus 6 over x minus 3. So then 6 over x minus 3 will be y minus 1. Then from here, I need to get the x as a subject. So I multiply this x minus 3 to the right hand side. So which means 6 equals to x minus 3 multiplied with y minus 1. And now I do expansion. Then you will be getting xy minus x. Then minus 3y plus 3 equals to 6. And next step is to get the x as a subject. So I will write xy minus x. All these terms, these two terms will be moved to the other side. So 6 plus 3y minus 3. And at the same time, okay, for the right hand side, I factorize the x. Then you will get x bracket y minus 1. Left hand side, 6 minus 3 will be 3. Then plus 3y. So from here, my x will be 3 plus 3y. So I can factorize the 3. I will get 1 plus y over y minus 1. Once we have found the x as a subject, then I will just direct change the x to f inverse and the y to x. Okay, so this is my expression for f inverse. Question number 9. Water is poured into a tank at a constant rate of 500 centimeter cube per second. So by looking at this in this unit, okay, centimeter cube per second, that means this is the units for dV dt, because a centimeter cube is for volume. So I will write dV over dt, t is second. So 500. Now the depth of water in the tank t seconds after filling starts is h centimeter. So the h means the depth. When the depth of water in the tank is h centimeter, the volume V of the tank of the water in the tank is given by this formula. Okay, now A, find the rate at which h is increasing at the instant when h equals to 10 centimeter. So whenever you see rate, that means this is d over dt. And then we need to find rate at which h, means that rate of h, which means you need to find dh dt. So what is your dh dt? When h equals to 10. Okay, so for this case, we need to apply the chain rule. Alright, so first of all, we need to get dv dh. So now my dv dh, so it is cube of 25 plus h. So you bring down the cube, means that 4 over 3 times 3, then 25 plus h squared. And differentiate 25 plus h is basically 1. So I'm using the power rule. Alright, power rule is d over dx fx to the power of n. It will be n brackets fx to the power of n minus 1. You bring down the power first, then you differentiate the f. This is the power rule. Alright, now done the first differentiation. Now the second term is basically a constant. So when you differentiate a constant with respect to h, it will be 0. So that's all for our dv dh. But then now when you look at the question, you need to find dh dt when the h is 10. So now I can just replace first. When h is 10, my dv dh, or probably I can just further simplify. Okay, the 3 and 1/3 cancel off. Then you will get 4 brackets 25 plus h squared for your dv dh. So now my dv dh, and when h equals to 10 is going to be 4 bracket 25 plus 10, it will be 35 then squared. And now you will be getting 4,900. Okay, so to get the dh dt, I will write dh dt equals to dh over dv times dv over dt by using the chain rule. So for your information, dh dv is 1 over dv over dh. Okay, so we have found the dV dH here. That means now I have to write 1 over 4,900 as my dH dV. Then multiply with dV dt. dV dt is given 500. Then you will get 0.102. Now, dH dt, the H unit is centimeter. The time is second. So it means that this is centimeter per second. Okay, centimeter per second. Now, for B, at another instance, the rate at which H is increasing at 0.075 centimeter per second, find the value of V. Okay, so now you are given dH dt is basically 0.075. We put a positive here because it's increasing. So no need to write the positive. But if let's say the rate is decreasing, then you have to add on negative. Okay, please take note on that. So this is positive. And now you need to find what is the V. So when dH dt is given, so what we need to do here is use back the same concept, right? So now I need to find the H before I get the V. Okay, because your V volume depends on the H. So I will use back the chain rule. So I will use dV dH equals to dV over dt times dt over dH. Okay, so dV dH we have found just now. 4 of 25 plus h squared. So 4 of 25 plus h squared. dV dt is given in the question, 500. So 500. dt over dH. So again, dt over dH is 1 over dH over dt. So it means that it is 1 over 0.075. So when you calculate this value, it will be 20,000 over 3. Okay, now even though we need the H, but when you look at the V expression, you see I need cube of 25 plus H, right? So, but then when you look at here, I'm only getting square of 25 plus H. Means that I still need to proceed to get a H. Right, so which means 25 plus H squared is 20,000 over 12. Because the 4 moved down, combined with 3 becomes 12. And then this is going to be 5,000 over 3. So 25 plus H will be square root 5,000 over 3. Then your H is this value minus 25. Alright, so I will just direct write, or probably I will just show step by step. And you will be getting a positive value. So this value is 15.8248. Okay, so now once we have found the V, the H, we can find the volume. So volume is given in the original, in the beginning of the question, 4 over 3 times cube of 25 plus H minus this term. So I will rewrite here, 4 over 3, 25 plus H cube minus 62500 over 3. So now replace a H. Then from here you will get 69888, and we have to leave our answer correct to three significant figures. Okay, therefore, it is 69900 centimeter cube. Okay, or probably you can just write equal sign. Okay, so that's the solution of this question. Okay, next question, number 10. You are given a graph. The diagram shows part of the graph with equation y equals to 4 over square of 2x minus 1 and parts of the lines x equals to 1, y equals to 1. So here is x equals to 1 and this is y equals to 1. The curve passes through the points A with coordinates 1, 4 and B 3 over 2, 1. Now A, find the exact volume generated when the shaded region is rotated through 360 degrees about the x-axis. So now we need to rotate this about the x-axis for 360 degrees. Okay, so we know that volume of revolution about the x-axis, the formula is pi y square dx. Then x from A to B. This is a formula. But when you integrate directly the graph from 1, because the x is 1 here, and then here is 3 over 2, you are actually counting the area of these whole parts. Okay, so you will notice that the bottom is extra. This is extra. It shouldn't be counted. Which means when you use this formula, integrate from 1 to 3 over 2, you are counting extra the bottom part. So now I need to minus the bottom part. Alright? So what to do is this bottom part, when you rotate about the x-axis for 360 degrees, is basically a cylinder. Okay, when you look at here. Alright, this is a cylinder. So cylinder with radius of 1 unit. And then this is the height. Alright, the height will be 3 over 2 minus 1. Because here is 3 over 2. Here is 1. Okay, so when you need to solve this question, be careful with this diagram. Because it is not, the region is not up to the x-axis. It is just hanging at y equals to 1. So now I have to split it into two parts for this solution. Okay, so first of all, I will integrate first. So I will write volume, or V1, is pi integrate from 1 to 3 over 2 y squared dx. Means I find the volume of everything. Then later I will minus this cylinder volume. So now it will be pi integrate 1 to 3 over 2. My y is this value. So when I square it, it will be 4 over 2x minus 1 squared. Then another squared. So bring in the squared. 4 squared will be 16. Take out the 16. It becomes 16 pi. Integrate 1 to 3 over 2. This squared, you bring it in to the denominator. It becomes degree 4. And then since the denominator with degree 4, then I can move up. Becomes degree of negative 4. Okay. Then now, when you need to integrate, the formula is integrate ax plus b to the power of n dx equals to ax plus b to the power of n plus 1 over n plus 1. Then differentiate ax plus b is a plus c. This formula is valid when n is not minus 1. So now, obviously, our n is minus 4 right now. That means we can use the formula. So when I integrate using this formula, I will rewrite my function. The degree instead of minus 4 now plus 1. So it becomes minus 3 over new degree, and don't forget to differentiate 2x minus 1. So when differentiate 2x minus 1, it is 2. Okay, so from here, the minus 3 and 2 in the denominator can be moved out and combined with the 16 pi. So I will get 16 pi over minus 6, which means you will get minus 8 over 3 pi. Okay, and then this power negative 3, I can move it down. Alright, now I will replace the x by 3 over 2 first. Then minus when the x is 1. So 2 times 1 is 1, therefore, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so then when you simplify, the 2.5 cancel off. So inside the bracket, it will be 3 minus 1, which is 2. 2 cubed, it will be 8. So I will get negative 8 over 3 pi bracket 1 over 8 minus 1. Then when you simplify, this is going to be 7 over 3 pi. Okay, so this is the volume for whole region. Alright, so now I need to minus the cylinder volume. So I will write volume of cylinder, or V2 is volume of cylinder. Volume of cylinder is pi r square h. Okay, so it will be pi r is 1, because when you look at this diagram, this is the radius, this is the center of the cylinder, right? So your r is 1, then your h is 3 over 2 minus 1, because this is the h. So 3 over 2 minus 1. So 3 over 2 minus 1 is half. That means this is half pi. So your final answer, volume of volume generated, okay, I will say volume generated, is V1 minus V2, which is 7 over 3 pi minus half pi. Then you will be getting 11 over 6 pi. Okay, so that's all for this volume. Now B, a triangle is formed from the tangent to the curve at B, and then the normal to the curve at B and the x-axis. Find the area of this triangle. Okay, so now we look at this diagram. So now let's say I redraw the graph. Just simply sketch a graph. This is 1. Here is a B. So let's say this is a curve. This is a B. Now the tangent. Tangent means it is a straight line that touches the B. Let's say this is a tangent. So this is a tangent. And then the normal. Normal is perpendicular to tangent. So it means that here is a normal. Alright. So then this is the x-axis. So which means you need to find what is the triangle, area of this triangle. Okay. So remember, this is just a rough graph. I do not sketch according to the axis, to the scale. So from here, what I need to do is, this is y equals to 4 over 2x minus 1 squared. Okay, so to get the tangent, right, firstly I need to get the tangent equation. Then once I get the tangent equation, I need to find what is the intersection points here. Then from the tangent gradient, I need to find the normal gradient and form the normal line. At the same time, I need to find the intersection with the x-axis. Okay, so the idea is firstly you get the gradient of tangent. So now my y is 4 over 2x minus 1 squared. Gradient of tangent is basically the dy dx, means that now this squared must be moved up. So it will be 4 bracket 2x minus 1 to the power of negative 2. Then now my dy dx, okay, bring down the negative 2 and combine with 4. So minus 8 bracket 2x minus 1. The degree always minus 1 when you differentiate. And then don't forget to differentiate the bracket. So when differentiate 2x minus 1, it will be 2. So from here, I will say that my dy dx is basically minus 16 because 8 times 2 is 16. The power negative 3, you can just move down the whole bracket. This is my dy dx. And then as a b, we know that the x is 3 over 2. So as b, x is 3 over 2. That means my dy dx is negative 16 over 2 of 3 over 2 minus 1 then cube. Which means this is negative 16 over, okay, the 2.5 cancel. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 cube is 8. That means I'm getting minus 2. This is my gradient of tangent. So m tangent equals to negative 2. Okay, point B so point B with coordinates 3 over 2 and 1. So 3 over 2 and 1. So now equation of tangent. Y minus 1 equals to, remember the formula, y minus y1 is m bracket x minus x1. So I'm going to use this formula. So m is minus 2, the x minus 3 over 2. Alright, so then, now, from here, your y is negative 2x plus, bring in, so minus 2 times negative 3 over 2 is plus 3. So plus 3, move this to the right side, becomes plus 4. So then we need to find this point, which means when the y equals to 0. So when y equals to 0, 0 is negative 2x plus 4, which means 2x is 4, therefore your x is 2. So I know that here is 2. Okay, so done for the tangent line. Now move on to the normal line. So gradient of normal, m normal, is negative 1 over gradient of tangent. So it will be negative 1 over gradient of tangent is negative 2. So negative 2, that means you are getting half. Okay, now equation of normal at points B with coordinates 3 over 2 and 1. So now refer to the gradients and also the point. Again, use the same formula, equation of equation of a straight line. So y minus 1 equals to half bracket x minus 3 over 2. So then from here, y equals to, just times in, half x. So half times negative 3 over 2 is negative 3 over 4. Then move this minus 1 to the other side, becomes plus 1. So you will get plus 1 over 4. Okay, so we have found the equation of normal. According to the question, you need to find these points now. These points means when the y equals to 0 for the normal. So and again now, let y equals to 0. So 0 is half x plus 1 over 4. That means half x is negative 1 over 4. Or in other words, x is basically half, negative half. Okay, x is negative half. So I have found two x values. First x, second x. So when you refer to the graph now, okay, we know that here is 2. This is 2. And then the other one is negative half. Means that my graph is not accurate. Okay, negative half. Probably I just adjust this. Right, something like that. Okay. That's why I said this is just a rough idea. This is negative half. Maybe this is the straight line, the y-axis. Alright, so from here, you need to find the area of the triangle. So from the points B, 3 over 2 and 1. Okay, the points B with coordinates 3 over 2 and 1, which means here is 1. Okay, then I can just find the base here by using 2 minus negative half. And then the height is 1. Then the area of the triangle will be half times base times height. Okay, so my area of triangle half times base. Base is 2 minus half. The height is 1. So I will get half times, this is plus. So 2 plus half is 5 over 2. That means I will be getting 5 over 4. So this is my area of triangle. Okay, so now let's move on to next question. The equation of a curve is such that dy dx is given, where a is positive constant, so a more than 0. The curve has a stationary point at a negative 15. So stationary points means dy dx equals to 0. Alright, so now since you are given the dy dx, so I will just rewrite. Dy dx equals to 0 at a minus 15, which means your x is a. So now a, find the value of a now. Okay, so just direct replace. 0 equals to 6a squared minus 30a plus 6a. So I will get 6a squared minus 30a plus 6a is basically minus 24a. Then the common term is 6a. Then after you factorize, you still have a minus 4 equals to 0. So from here, 6a equals to 0 or a minus 4 equals to 0. Alright, so when 6a equals to 0 means your a equals to 0. But then it's mentioned here a is greater than 0, which means now we cannot accept a equals to 0. So a equals to 4. So you just write a is greater than 0, therefore, or hence, a equals to 4. So that's the solution for the first part. The a is 4 here. Now B, determine the nature of these stationary points. Nature means the maximum, minimum by using d squared y over dx squared. So now I will rewrite my dy dx first. My dy dx after you replace the a by 4. So here 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. Okay, so 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. Okay, so now we need to differentiate. So d squared y over dx squared, differentiate 6x squared, it will be 12x. Minus 30x becomes minus 30. And then at the point, so our point is a minus 15. Now becomes 4 minus 15. So at 4 minus 15, our d squared y over dx squared will be 12 times 4 minus 30. Okay, 12 times 4 is 48. 48 minus 30 is 18, which is more than 0, which means 4 minus 15 is a minimum point. So that is the nature of the stationary point. Now C, find the equation of the curve. So to get the equation of the curve, we need to integrate the dy dx. Alright, so now I copy back my dy dx first. 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. Then now my y is integrate the dy dx. So when you integrate 6x squared, it will be 6x cubed over 3 minus 30x squared over 2 plus 24x plus c. Okay, and this is same as y. Now I need a point to get the c. So just now we have found the stationary point, 4 minus 15. Alright, this is also the point on the curve. So now 4 minus 15. That means the x is 4. Okay, before that, let me simplify my y first, because I noticed that I can simplify it to a simpler form. So 6 over 3 is 2x cubed. 30 over 2 is 15, then 15x squared plus 24x plus c. This is my y. Then at 4 minus 15, this is a stationary point, means that x is 4, y is minus 15. Now replace. So minus 15 is 2 times 4 cubed minus 15 times 4 squared plus 24 times 4 plus c. So from here, when you get the total of the first three terms on the right hand side, it will be minus 16. Therefore, your c is 1. Once you have found the c, substitute back into the equation of the curve. So, equation of the curve your y is 2x cubed minus 15x squared plus 24x plus 1. Alright, so that's the solution of this question. Okay, part D. Find the coordinates of any other stationary points on the curve. So now, stationary points means dy dx equals to 0. I need to rewrite my dy dx. 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. And let this be 0. So, dy dx equals to 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. So when equals to 0, from here I can factorize the 6. Okay, so when multiplication of 6 and the bracket equals to 0, means that the brackets must be 0. Mistake for the last term. 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, so to solve the stationary points, so because other stationary points means that it should have more than one stationary point. So, and we notice that it is quadratic equation, means that there will be two x values, maximum two different x values. So now to solve this quadratic equation, we can just factorize this into x minus 4 and x minus 1. That means your x will be 4 or x equals to 1. But just now, you were given the stationary points 4 minus 15, which means another stationary point happens when x equals to 1. Alright, so when x equals to 1, my y is, replace here, 2x cubed. So 2, 1 cubed minus 15 times 1 squared plus 24 times 1 plus 1. That will be my y coordinate. And then this is going to be 12. That means other stationary point. We'll have the coordinates of 1, 12. Okay, now next question, question 12. The diagram shows a circle P, this is a bigger circle P, with coordinates 0, 2 and radius 10. Okay, 0, 2, so means probably here. And then radius is 10, so here is 10, which means this is 12. Then here is 10 as well, that means this is minus 8. Okay, this is the center. And the tangent to the circle at the point A with coordinates 6, 10. So this is 6, 10. It also shows a second circle Q. Okay, the smaller circle with center at the point where this tangent meets the y-axis. So now, when you look at the graph, okay, look at the diagram, this is a tangent line. So when the tangent meets the y-axis, this is the center of the smaller circle. And with radius 5 over 2 square root 5, which means here is 5 over 2 square root 5. Okay, that's the information that I can extract from the question. Now A writes down the equation of the circle P. So circle P, you are given center 0, 2, radius 10. So then the equation of circle P, x minus 2 squared, because for your information, equation of a circle, okay, let's say the center as AB, radius is R. So the equation of circle is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to r squared. This is a general equation of the circle. So now your center is 0, 2. That's why x minus 0. Okay, mistake. X minus 0 squared plus y minus 2 squared, because this is the y coordinate, that equals to radius 10 squared. So I can simplify the first term as x squared, because the question just writes down and 1 mark. No need to do expansion. So x squared plus y minus 2 squared equals to 100. Alright, so done for the A. Now B, find the equation of the tangent to the circle P at A. Okay, I need to find what is this straight line. So by looking at the graph or at the diagram, I know that the center is 0, 2. Okay, this tangent line touches the circle as A. That means I can join, okay, I can join the A to the center. So when I join the A to the center, which means this is normal line, because it is 90 degrees. Why? How do I know 90 degrees? It is just touches the circle. Okay, so from here I can find what is my normal first, the gradient of normal. before I get the gradient of tangent. So with this gradient of tangent and the points A, then I can form the straight line, the equation of tangent. So that's the whole idea to solve the parts B. Okay, so now I will refer to 2 points. Point 0, 2, or I would say that this is a center. Then the points A with coordinates 6, 10. So the gradient, or I would say that that is the gradient of normal, or probably m normal equals to, now for your information, if let's say you have 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2, the gradient, let's say this is the A, this is the B, the gradients MAB, gradients of AB is MAB, will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So now, your gradients here will be 10 minus 2 divided by 6 minus 0. That means this is 8 over 6, and it can be simplified to 4 over 3. So I have found the gradients of normal here. And gradients of normal, the normal line is perpendicular to the tangent line. Or I say the gradient of the normal multiplied with gradient of tangent, it will be minus 1. Okay? Or in other words, I will say gradient of tangent m tangent, it will be negative 1 over m normal. Okay, so it will be negative 1 over 4 over 3, which is negative 3 over 4. So, equation of tangent at A with the gradients of negative 3 over 4, use back the same formula. Y minus y1 is m bracket x minus x1. Or probably you can write y equals to mx plus c. No problem. So I will use y minus 10 equals to, with m negative 3 over 4. So negative 3 over 4, x minus 6. So y equals to negative 3 over 4x, just times in. So minus 3 over 4 times minus 6. Okay, then followed by moving the minus 10 to the other side. Then you will get plus 29 over 2. Okay, or if you want to do step by step, you can just write y minus 10 equals to negative 3 over 4 plus 9 over 2. Therefore, your y is negative 3 over 4 x, okay, x, plus 29 over 2. So that's the equation of tangent at A. Now, the next part, part C. Find the equation of circle Q, first part, and hence verify. This is the second part, and hence means use the equation of the circle Q to verify the y coordinates of both of the points of intersection of the two circles are 11. The y coordinates for both circles will be 11. Okay, so now to get the equation of the Q, let's look at the diagram. We have found the tangent line. This line is found. So to get the equation of Q, I need the center. Okay, radius is given. So the center is when the tangent line passes through A, crosses the y-axis, which means for the tangent line A, we have to let the x be 0. Then I can find what is this center. So use back the answer from previous part. Y equals to negative 3 over 4x. So this is equation of tangent at A. Okay, so now when x equals to 0, your y is 29/2, which means the center of circle Q is with coordinates 0, 29/2, and then the radius equals to 5/2 square root 5. So now we can easily write down the equation of circle Q, which means x minus 0 squared plus y minus 29/2 squared equals to square of 5/2 square root 5. Okay, again, simplify the x minus 0 squared. So I will get x squared plus y minus 29/2 squared. It will be 125/4. So that is my equation of circle. So we have done the first part. Now hence verify the y coordinates. Verify means you show the y coordinates equals to 11 by replacing the value, okay, into the previous equation. So now for the Q, okay, because you need to show the y coordinates for both of the points of intersection of two circles. Okay, so let's see the points of two circles, which means it's here. You want to show this is 11, right? Which means now I can just find what is the y value here. I mean the x values, because you need to substitute the y into this y into the equation. So now for the equation Q, okay, equation Q, x squared plus y minus 29/2 squared is 125/4. So when y equals to 11, x squared plus 11 minus 29/2 squared equals to 125/4. So this is x squared equals to 125/4 minus square of 11 minus 29/2, it will be 49/4. Okay, and then from here I'm getting 19. Now you want to show that both the y coordinates are 11. So how do I prove this? So it means that now I have to show for the points P as well. Okay, so this is my Q. Then I will refer to the points, the circle P, which is x squared plus y minus 2 squared equals to 100. So when y equals to 11, okay, wait, let me check. So the P does not have, okay, wait, when the P is 11, the y is 11, then you also get 2x. Okay, so the intersection. Hence, verify the y coordinates of both of the points of intersection of the two circles. Both of the points of intersection of the two circles are 11. So this is intersection. Okay, which means it's here. The intersection is not here. Okay, mistake. I wrongly interpreted. So both intersections is here. That means here is 11. So now I have proven that for the point Q, for the circle Q, at y equals to 11, the x squared here is 19. Okay, now I have to prove the Q as well, the P as well. So because that is the intersection between P and Q. So now, when y equals to 11, your x squared plus 11 minus 2 squared equals to 100. That means x squared equals to 100. Okay, 11 minus 2 is 9. 9 squared is 81. This is 19. So you are getting the same x squared. So therefore, verify. Okay? So that's why verify means that you are not showing from scratch. You are showing by replacing the y value. That is called verify. Now D, find the coordinates of the points of intersection of the tangents and the circle Q, giving the answers in third form. Okay, now tangent and the circle Q. Let's look at the diagram. Tangent and the circle Q. Intersection will be these 2 points. Okay, which means you just need to solve the simultaneous equations. So now, to solve this question, I will write down my equation of the tangent first. So equation of tangents we have found from previous part. Y equals to negative 3 over 4x plus 29 over 2. Okay, the equation of circle Q. So the circle Q is x squared plus square of y minus 29 over 2 equals to 125 over 4. So x squared plus y minus 29 over 2 squared is 125 over 4. And now we need to get the intersection between these two curves. So I will substitute first equation into second equation. So first term is x squared. Rewrite. Then minus 3 over 4x plus 29 over 2. That is my y from the first equation. Then that is my y. So now you have to minus 29 over 2. Squared equals to 125 over 4. So for the second bracket, the plus 29 over 2 and minus 29 over 2 will be 0. Then I will do expansion. First term x squared. Second term, square of minus 3 over 4x becomes 9 over 16x squared. So the left hand side, 1x squared plus 9 over 16x squared, it will be 25 over 16x squared. That equals to 125 over 4. So the x squared will be 20. Right? And now we need to find points of intersections. There will be more than 1 point. So it means that your x will be plus minus square root 20. Now I can simplify, you see, leave your answer in third form. So this square root 20 is basically 4 times 5. Square root 4 is 2, so plus minus 2 square root 5. So I get 2x values. Then when x equals to 2 square root 5, from the first equation, my y is negative 3 over 4, 2 square root 5, plus 29 over 2. Then here I will simplify. Okay, the 2 and 4 simplify to be 2 in the denominator. Then I will get negative 3 root 5 over 2 plus 29 over 2, which means, right, it will be negative 3 root 5 plus 29, then divided by 2. That is my first coordinate, first y coordinate. So when x equals to negative 2 root 5, again from 1, from the first equation, my y is negative 3 over 4 times negative 2 root 5 plus 29 over 2. So the minus becomes plus. That means I just change the minus here to be plus. That's the difference. So I will get 2 3 root 5 plus 29 over 2. Okay, so I just need to rewrite my final answer. Points equals to 2 root 5 negative 3 root 5 plus 29 for the first point, and another point is negative 2 root 5, then 3 root 5 plus 29 over 2. Okay? Alright, so that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoy watching my video, and stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye.